teams to make the Olympic team?
Well, this summer. It was obviously a lot of fun. Always an honor representing the country, so I'm excited.
What's the focus? A little shake-up in the lines today. What do you guys need to see from the start tomorrow?
I think back to our game, I think we've been playing a really good team game for a long period of the season. So last 2 games have been a disappointment, and maybe 3 of the last 4. So just get back to it and start winning games again.
With only 12 shots yesterday, do you think it was kind of more of a combination of something Pittsburgh was doing, or something you were not doing, maybe a little bit of both?
Probably a bit of both. I mean, Pittsburgh is they're a good team, but at the same time, we didn't go anywhere near our level that we want to play at, and we know that, and I don't think they had their best game, last game either. So it was a missed opportunity for us, and like you're saying, you got to get the shot volume off it, especially in this league, and it creates so much off of it as well.
When you get a line shake up like this, how long do you think it takes to kind of get rhythm with new line mates?
We play with each other in different ways all the time, and been with each other for a long period of time. So usually doesn't take any time. It's just to get right back in it. Everyone knows each other well and everyone's game, so it's kind of easy to be able to jump right in it.
Raymond, halfway through the season now, are you starting to get a sense that teams are starting to find their identity more? The play is elevating at this point in the season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think in general, just it's starting to tighten up. Like you're saying, it goes very quick. We're halfway through the year, and it goes fast, and it can go fast both ways. And we've learned that the hard way. So, for us, it's like I said, we just got to keep playing our game, and I think good things will happen from that.
Going back to the Olympics for a second, why is that so special to get there?
I think obviously there's big hockey things that you could play in. I think with the Olympics, that's something that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, to compete and be a part of as an athlete worldwide. So it's a huge honor, and also that it doesn't come around every year, right? And it's been a long time since NHL players were a part of it. So like I said, very excited, and I can't wait.
Todd, just the juggling of the lines today at practice. What are you hoping to accomplish by switching things up a bit?
Well, sometimes things go stale, and we haven't had an overabundance of 5-on-5 scoring from certain groups. The Cop line's done a real good job. They've been carrying us in that category or department, if you will, and we need a little bit more from some others. So shuffle them up a little bit, see what we get from the groups.
You made a comment, I believe it was in Pittsburgh, that we talk about resiliency a lot and coming back and things like that in games, but that's not always a good thing. What can you point to about your team's starts that could get better, or that's causing some of the struggles?
Well, the resilience thing, what I was trying to say in Pittsburgh, I hope it came across that way, is that it's an exceptional quality to have, to be able to bounce back and deflect and dig in when you have to dig in. But if you're in those situations, usually something's happened to require that. And the starts to some of our games have put us in those situations. We had that miracle where we were down by 4 and came back. We can reflect on that and say, well, pretty resilient team, but what led up to that? And our starts haven't been where they need to be. I think our team has to be a little more direct to start with. We need to establish how we want to play, or try to establish that way, instead of feeling our way into the game and figuring out how it's going to go. I don't want to take anything away from the guys for being resilient, but again, you have to address some of the problems.
When you get only 12 shots, I know it's easy to say, well, you just need to shoot the puck more, but what's the balance there between, you don't just want to haphazardly just fire pucks? How do you...
Well, I think we had 50 or 48, somewhere in that range. I don't know the exact number. I saw it this morning, but we had that many shot attempts. We just didn't get a lot through to the net. And usually if you take one, if you look at a graph or a shot line. And bang, there's one shot. A lot of times right after that, there's two more marks. Bang, bang. So it's a shot, a rebound, and then play goes on. You get 2, 3, 4 minutes, nothing happens, then bang, bang, bang. That's an ideal night for us. If it's just showing one little tick, that first shot gets through and we do nothing with it, well, then it's useless. And we never got the first shot. We never had a chance to get rebounds or anything like that to sustain any offensive zone time. To your point, just randomly firing a puck for the sake of firing it doesn't make a lot of sense either. So there's some release points. We worked on a bit of that today. When you don't have the shot, can you look off the side of the net for a tip-in deflection? One of our best chances last night, Benny Sherratt looked off the side of the net to Patrick Kane. I don't know what period it was in, first or third. It was down on the far end, and it was a real good look. Benny wasn't going to get that shot on goal based on their shot blocking and where they were positioned. So the release of the puck isn't just a shot all the time. It's to create for teammates, and we have to do a better job.
Nate Danielson, the offense has been hard to come by, but how do you, for a rookie like that, how do you measure his just effectiveness, what he needs to do besides put points up?
Yeah, so Nate is going to have to produce some offense over time. He's still figuring out the game here, and I think he's got a tremendous toolbox. He's got to put it all together, and sometimes the goals that you get when you're 20 and when you're 40, you look at JVR, they're a little bit greasy. I hate when people use that word, like grinding type goals. They're rebounds, they're tip-ins, there's something off of a goaltender that you happen to be in the right spot and you whack it in. It's not always just the playmaking and the sweet finishes and that type of stuff. And I think there's more of those goals in Danny, or plays in Danny, and that'll come out over time. We'll help him with that, but we want to make sure he maintains a level of offensive confidence as well, and he's got to participate in that a bit too.
With Elmer, I know he had a pretty good run of play for a while before he came out of the lineup. Like, what are the things that when he does, he's kind of at his A game?
Well, he's winning. He's protecting pucks and holding on to them and winning those battles.
Moving Lucas to the third line here in practice today, is that any effort on your end of maybe a message sending, or is that just...
I don't know who our third line is. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know who our third line is. I have a pretty good idea. I think Copper's our first line right now, but I couldn't tell you who our second, third, and fourth lines are right now. So it's Razor and Larks. It hasn't worked real well, and Emmett. They're the one line that hasn't had a lot going for them, even strength. They're great players, and we're going to need them to win, but it just hasn't gone well lately. It's been a while since they produced. I don't think Razor has an even strength goal since November, which is a long time now. And as I mentioned earlier, just getting them away from each other, it's very easy for us to go back to it. We feel good about that, but they've got to find their games, and maybe separating for a little bit will help them.
And then these last several games against Ottawa, even before your arrival last year, have been kind of highlighted by a lot of emotion, a lot of physical play. How do you have your team kind of ride that fine line of coming out with their emotions in check while also delivering a strong performance?
Well, emotion's a big part of the game. I think you saw us play yesterday without it, in my opinion. So it has to be part of the game, but if you take it too far and you hurt your team by taking ill-advised penalties, or you're wrapped up in emotion and you miss an assignment and we get scored on, that's not very productive. But there has to be a fine line in there, and the players have to understand the level of it. You have to be disciplined. You hope they take some penalties and you get on the power play and their emotions boil over, but it's a real important part of the game, and if you play empty and you don't have any, you often end up with games like yesterday.
Just to follow up on Elmer, do you feel like his shot is kind of an underutilized tool in his tool? I know he's got great hands too.
Yeah, well, yes, but I think that a lot of our players don't shoot enough, and just in my opinion, the guys that are going to score 50 goals this year, they're going to have 300 and some shots. Like, it's just numbers. And when you have an opportunity and you can look at the net, and I'm talking about everybody else, not just Elmer now, and you're looking at the net and it's the best play and you don't use it, well, you might wait another period. Some guys yesterday didn't have a shot on goal. They put the equipment on, they played the whole night, didn't have a shot on goal. Like, forget about wins and losses. That can't even be fun. You have no chance of scoring. So I think there's a lot of players that could use their shot more often. Throw Elmer into the mix, but it's a generalization. It's not just for one individual.
More than halfway through the point of the season, Razor talked about how the games seem to be tighter, physicalities raising up, teams are starting to build their identity more and more. As a coach, from your stance, where do you kind of see where games are and where other teams are at this point of the year and what they're continuing to build?
Well, I would 100% agree with Razor. The level of play has gone up and it's going to go up. The intensity, the tightness, and the standings promote that. We've discussed it as a group in here, the parity and how you can go from first to fifth in one night without even playing a game sometimes. The value of every night is so important, and I think guys are not just the Wings, the whole league is feeling that, so you got to bring it. And I think it's just going to ramp up even more as it gets closer. And then the teams, there'll be 16 of them that get to play again starting in mid-April. And that's a whole new level. And then it gets, obviously it gets whittled down and it goes to a level that a lot of our guys haven't experienced yet. And we're hoping to get them there.
And then continuing forward, there's a lot of games left between now and the Olympic break. The mental workload of that with the Olympics, some players obviously looking forward to that. How do you keep guys focused on the day-to-day?
I think we have 15 left heading into tomorrow. And it's basically a month. So that's not an overabundance. That could be a real busy month in a regular year. So we're in a good spot as far as the spread out of games. We just played 5 sets of back-to-backs in 23 days, which somebody told me that. I went back and looked, and it was real. It started in Edmonton, and you don't realize it when you're doing it, but you look back and go, okay, that was a tough run. I don't think we have that tougher run with back-to-backs and that type of stuff from now till the end. We play some very good teams, and it gets later into the season, so it gets tougher, but we have to manage the group properly and make sure that we're getting better in a lot of different ways, whether that's practice, video, meetings, accountability, team spirit, all that type of stuff.